Morning, Nighthawks. Hey, this is Dr. H here. This is strictly just for Health 3100. I wanted to go over the group project with you just a little bit. And every semester, the group project, people have a little bit of fear when it comes to the group project, but at the end, they find that it was easier than what they thought it was going to be, that they learned something, and usually the grades are pretty solid. Um, it counts for a large portion of your grade, but at the same time, um, because we meet so often, and I'm going to give you some pretty good guidelines on how to do your presentation. Most students don't have a problem with a grade. I'm going to share my screen with you, and let's go over a few things. So this is the Health 3100 group project rubric. And as you see here, this is the excellent category. And if to receive a 90 to a 100 on your grade, and each individual, even though you're doing it as a group project, everyone's going to receive an individual grade. For example, if person A does a great job, person B does a great job, person C doesn't do their slides at all, and it's just three blank slides, and I'll cover that in a moment. That's not going to affect person A or person B or person D or person E. It's only going to affect person C. Um, and I'll get more into that. So that takes a little bit of pressure off everyone. You're still working as a group, but your grade is going to be individual. The presentation topic is well defined. The group discusses significance of the topic of subject and shows a link to the material in the course. So with your group project, what that's saying is when you do your presentation, I want to see or hear where you got this information throughout the semester. Did you get your information from a chapter in the book? Did it come from PowerPoints? Did it come from one of our meetings on Wednesday nights? Where did that information come from? The presentation is highly polished, no grammatical or spelling errors. So when I go through your PowerPoint, there shouldn't be any misspellings on your PowerPoint. There should be no misspellings on your references, your citations. Effort exceeds the requirement of the assigned and clearly put care and effort into the preparation of the final project. I've been doing this for several years, and you can hear and see when there's been no effort put into a project. And I'll kind of go over that with you in just a moment. Excellent background context and idea development. This is where you're pulling information from outside the course and matching it with information you got from within the course and your group project. Organization. Students present information in a logical, interesting sequence. So if we're talking about security, privacy and security, um, we're not starting off with patient rights and HIPAA. We're actually starting off with a definition of privacy and security. So just to give you an idea, and I'm going to help you along with that. So don't think you're on this boat alone. Content is clear and understandable. So when I look at it, it makes sense what you've got on there. So your speaking parts and your bullet points, they match. Um, or what you're doing your presentation on matches the topic you've been assigned or you chose. The bibliography or references and citations includes a minimum of 8 references. Bibliography meets, and we're going to change that to APA 7. I will accept APA 6, um, but it meets APA 7 style guidelines with less than 2 errors. And of course, your references page go at the end of your work. Your citations go in your work. Each group member will be required to narrate at least 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'd like you to keep this under 8 minutes. A lot of you are thinking there's no way I can talk for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And then there's going to be others of you who are thinking, how can I get this all in under 8 minutes? And what I found over the years is more people have a problem staying under the 8 minutes uh, than they do hitting the 3 minutes and 30 seconds. If you come in under 3 minutes and 30 seconds, there will be a significant penalty and on your grade. And if you go over 8 minutes, depending on the material, there could be a penalty for that as well. You got to keep in mind you are going to do presentations professionally, academically. you know, uh, whether it's um, so just to give you my background, I've done these presentations like this in retail. I've done them in the corporate world. I did it when I was in the Army, tons of them on the academic level. Uh, so you need to keep in mind your audience, the amount of time that your audience has. When you do an academic presentation, you'll be given a few days before the conference. Uh, they'll tell you, hey, you have 22 minutes or you have 40 minutes, and so you've got to fit your presentation within that time limit, and that's what I'm doing here. It's a minimum of 3 minutes, 30 seconds, a maximum of 8 minutes. If you go over the 8 minutes, let me know why you went over the 8 minutes. Your final presentation is due by 11:59 p.m. on April 25th, and that way we have plenty of time to get ready for finals. And you can take a little bit of a deep breath. I'd like it before that. If you want to send it to me before that and have me take a look at it before you turn it in, I am more than happy to do that. You will use AI to create your presentation and be prepared to explain how you did this. You will conduct the presentation without assistance. So, whether you're using Designer and Presentation Coach, or you're using Copilot, or the millions of AI programs out there to help you put your presentation slides together, when you're doing your speaking parts, I expect you to do that unassisted. So, uh, and that what that means, that could be just not reading your notes. It's one thing to read your notes while you're doing a presentation. It's another for it to sound like you're reading. And I can't tell you how often it sounds like students are reading. It'll be like each group member will be required to narrate at least 3 minutes, and that that's not the image you want to put forth when you're doing a presentation, whether it's professionally or academically. You're the subject matter expert. And if you're just putting things on a slide and reading off that slide, or if you're just reading straight from your notes, your audience is going to think there's really no need for you and they're going to tune you out. Uh, Health 3100 final project grading due dates. So, roles and responsibilities. So, you will be put in your groups uh, no later than Monday noon. Uh, I take that back. It'll probably be Monday late afternoon, around 4 p.m. if I had to guess. Um, your roles and responsibilities sheet you'll have filled out no later than next Sunday at 11:59 p.m. or I'll assign you the roles and responsibilities and you'll lose points on your overall project. Your resources for the presentation will be March 30th, and this is strictly what you're using at that time to conduct your presentation, your references, and all that. Now, with that being said, I fully expect those to change a little bit. Typically they do, but I want to know what you have up to that point. I want your project outline, and I've got an example of that down below by April 13th. And the project outline is really a roadmap. It doesn't have to be extravagant, it can be very simple. And I want to see that no later than April 13th so I can make sure in those last 2 weeks that your group is on the right track. And then it's due on April 25th, which is a Friday, because I want you to have as much time as possible to prepare for your finals. And not just in this course, but all your courses. And then your student review. You're going to do a peer review that's anonymous. You're going to that's the only thing in this course that you will turn into me via email. And that way we can keep it absolutely anonymous. If there's a question about how much someone is helping or contributing, I'll reach out to that individual and their grade will be determined at that time. And just to go through some of the ground rules, the first thing that each group needs to do is set up a meeting to discuss ground rules. Your group meeting can be in person in a group discussion folder or via course email. All members must have a chance for input. Please send me an invite to your meetings. So whether you set this up with GroupMe or in Teams, that's strictly up to you and your group. You have folders where you'll turn everything in under groups in D2L. But I want to be able to pop into your meetings. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It's going to depend on my schedule and yours. Um, some groups are not going to be able to meet. Excuse me. Some groups are not going to be able to meet, and it's going to strictly be email chain or messaging through Teams. I want to be on that so I can see the communication taking place with your group project. You're going to determine the task as far as what are the expectations and deliverables. So as a group, you're going to sit down and you're going to say, hey, you're going to have this part done by this date. You have this part done by this date. I'll be the organizer and I'll put all this together. That's what that section stands for. What are group standards? What roles must be filled? And how often will members communicate with each other? You really need to set these things out right from the very beginning. When you're in a corporate situation or a professional environment or an academic environment, this is going to be one of the very first things you do so everyone can stay organized and everyone can stay on the same page. One of the biggest complaints that employers have across this country when they hire new college graduates is their inability to speak, which makes sense because we live in a text message environment or communicate, excuse me. Their inability to write professionally, which also makes sense because we've changed things up quite a bit. And so that's why we're as tough as we are on you on the details in your writing. And then the ability to present. Um, and so that's why we're working on this, and we're going to give you the tools. Now, are you going to be an expert? Maybe not an expert, but you're going to be efficient, proficient, and you're going to know how to do this. And as a matter of fact, if you do this and you score 80 or higher, you're going to get an electric badge saying that you're proficient in presentations that you can attach to your resume, your website, any kind of link you have, whether it's LinkedIn or what have you, to show employers and graduate school, because I want you to all go to graduate school, that you are familiar with doing presentations. Behavior. You need to discuss what behavior will be acceptable and won't. And that's strictly how that. If there's conflict, what's going to be the process of handling this? Are you going to come to me or are you going to have a project leader that's going to make the final decision? Let's see. Each group will submit a list of 10 resources. This is what's due on the 30th to let me know what you're looking at and how you're looking at it. If you need help on your references or your citations, here's the link to APA Purdue OWL. Here is how your references or citations, excuse me, this is how your references should look on everything you do in this course. Look how the author's name is here. Everything else is indented. It's got the name, it's got the journal, it's got the date, page number, or volume number, page number, and the DOI number. And here are the exact page numbers again. So this is exactly how it should look. And this is the outline, and it doesn't have to be where you have Roman numeral one, ABC. You can have just a Roman numeral one, what you're going to cover and who's going to cover it. And then if you have some subtopics, that's where they'll go there. Um, each group will have 15 to 20 minutes. Like I said, the minimum talk time to receive a passing grade, which is a 65, is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The maximum is 8 minutes. If you go over the 8 minutes, you're going to let me know why you went over the 8 minutes, and I'll probably end up waiving any kind of penalty for that. Um, you're going to use PowerPoint and you're going to turn in a PowerPoint. You're going to do your recordings on PowerPoint. You're not going to do them through another Audible option or any other option. It's going to be on PowerPoint. These are guidelines that you're going to be given in a professional and academic environment. So learn how to use PowerPoint now. It's really simple. You just hit record and you record over your slide. Here's the PowerPoint guidelines. And the fonts need to be at least a 36 font, as you see here, 36 to 38. And this keeps you from making your slides wordy. You don't want any more from 3 to 4 bullets on your slide. You don't want your slides to be just boring. I have the UNG template for the PowerPoint. If you want to use that, stay away from dark colors because when you're in a large room and in a conference environment or a professional environment, those are really hard to read. So you want to stay with light colors, darker fonts. Um, Here are a couple of places that you can go, and I'll re-upload this tomorrow um, to help with your PowerPoint. And so let's downsize this. And I've actually, this is the one I'll put on there. If you actually click on this link, it's a video walking you through from Microsoft itself how to use Coach and Designer to do your PowerPoints, and that is an AI program. That's more of the same. Here's the team presentation rating sheet. And as it says here, a deduction of 10 points will be given if not turned in. That would take you from 100 to a 90. Think about that. That's one almost one letter grade. If you got if you were perfect. I want you to be completely honest. And I also want you to be honest here about what I can do to make this better for future courses. My philosophy is the university belongs to the students. So you need to be open and honest with your professors. And even if the semester goes on, and there's something that doesn't work for you in particular, or something you think that the professor can do to change, because every group of students is different, be, hey, Dr. H, like this particular assignment, I really don't understand why we're doing this. It doesn't really pertain to anything. I don't like how you're instructing or what have you. I promise you, all your professors have thick skin and they appreciate the feedback. But this is your team rating sheet. It's a very simple thing. You don't want to see that. Okay. So, with that being said, that is the group project. Um, I'll meet with you anytime you need to go over and discuss the group project. I believe right now I have this set as 40% of the grade. So between the group project and your exam, that's 70% of your grade roughly. I'd have to look and do the exact math, but if I remember correctly. And so it's a very important assignment for the semester. Um, I would say working on it an hour a week will get you there, if I had to guess. Two at the most. Um, I would work on it early. What I like to tell students is if you care in the beginning as much as you care at the end, you don't have to care quite as much at the end. And so I find that to be true. The students who really put forth the effort in the first 3 quarters of the semester are able to kind of take it off and put it on cruise control a little bit towards the end. And I would like nothing more than for everyone in this course. I'll have a couple of weeks here and there where the assignments are light, and I do that so you'll have a little extra time to work on this. With that being said, that is it. I'll have the assigned groups out if you haven't sent me an email asking to be put in a group. I've got a lot going on tomorrow, so it'll probably be around 4 o'clock if I had to guess. I'll try to get it done sooner. I will also upload an example uh, of a presentation that was done where the students all got A's on it. They didn't use AI, they used Designer, which is close to AI. Um, and it's a fantastic presentation, top to bottom. There's a couple of small things wrong, but at the end of the day, no one got below a 90 on it. Everyone was, I think, 95 to 100. So, with that being said, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Our Zooms will begin this Wednesday. I've posted the link for that. It'll be the same link every week. Um, Other than that, have a wonderful day. Uh, if you like the Super Bowl, love the Super Bowl because if you're a football fan, you're going to see history, maybe. The halftime show, I don't know if it's going to be that great this year. Other than that, have a fantastic Sunday, and I hopefully will see everyone this week. Take care. Bye bye.